welcome to North Wales Side by Side. This is the start of what I'm hoping is going to be one or two videos. I've been given a Honda EX 1000 generator. How old it is, I really don't know. All I've been told about it is when you put it under load it falters, and honest to God, I'd forgotten I had it in the garage. I was looking for something else today under the bench, and tucked right down the bottom of the bench behind loads of other stuff was this generator. So I've decided I'm going to drag it out from the bench and see if, one, I've got a spark, two, it turns over initially. I know it's got fuel in it, so that's going to be more years old than I can remember, so that's probably as bad as anything. Oh, let's see where we go. Let's see if there's any oil in the engine whilst we're at it, and see what we've got. So I think the first thing to do before I start looking at spark plugs is check the oil. Is there anything else on it? It says model EX100, number GVJR0404. I don't know if that's the generator or the engine, that model number. Oh, it's got plenty of oil in it. It's probably got too much in it because it's come pissing out. And it's all over the bench. It's in black. What's it feel like? Oh, it doesn't smell like it's full of petrol. It's oil. That'll do for now. Let's mop my mess up. So we know we got oil in it, so we can forget about that for a little bit. Wooden benches and oil. Yeah, it's good for the wood, the oil is. Treats it, stops it rotting. So we can guarantee we got oil in the damn thing. Way too much, but we've got oil in it. So what have we got? We've got 12 volt outlet at 5.8 amps. Two 230 volt outlets. An on-off switch that works. Quite a heavy little thing. Exhaust. Air filter housing must be under there, and that must be the choke, which seems to work. And we've got a foam air filter in it. And it looks quite clean. So let's put that back on for now, so we know where it is. We know it's got an air filter. Where's the spark plug? What else have we got here? We've got 50 hertz and light. So yeah, it's a Honda EX1000, made in Japan, year of manufacture 1997. Well, 0717. It's 24 years old. Whoa, 20. I wonder. It's not seized up. So that's a good start. It's not seized solid. That's been on there for a good long year. Oh, that stinks. That absolutely stinks. That's not petrol anymore. Fuel tank is full of rust. Okay. That is absolutely full of crud. So straight away we're going to have to pull the tank off. Ah, that smells awful. Should never leave petrol in these things. We all know what that means, don't we? The carburettor is going to want a service. So we need to get that fuel tank off if nothing else. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Takes that off. A couple of Phillips screws there. A couple of Phillips there. And I can take the fuel tank off. Well, let's get myself some tools and start taking it apart. I think the first thing I'm going to take off is the exhaust heat shield, then the sides. I need to get that fuel tank off because it is absolutely full of rust. So let's get the bolts out. Multi-purpose Chinese food containers. and they're 10mm. That piece of metal works in very good condition. If I don't put them back in, I'll forget where they've come from. So that's going to leave 1, 2 there. If I get them out, that's 10mm, and see what comes loose. Well, that's just a heat shield. Don't worry, I don't know what I'm doing either. I'm just going to wing it. Never pulled one of these apart. Phillips, Phillips, Phillips. That's the one. Honda like their JASO screws. There's two more at the bottom. That's welded to that, which is held on with that, so it means there's going to be another one on the other side. I'm going to knock that off there. Four. I think I've got four little screws on here. bring that to the edge. There's one. If that does the holder, that didn't have to come off, that didn't have to come off. They've been quite clever with the way they've designed it. They're just covers. Normally on something like this, that cover integrates the pull start, and that's a metal one as well, it's not plastic. Oh, it stinks of petrol. Right. Oh, I never knew that was there. And that's where the spark plug is. That's clever. Tucked in there. In there, in there. I did not know that cover was there. Very clever, Honda. So there's the spark plug. I'm assuming it's a little 4-stroke. We'll find out a little bit more in a bit. Let's get that one, that one. One's on the other side and the tank should come off. Are they 8mm? They're 8. So if you're wondering which drill driver this is, it's the DCF 887. It's absolutely ideal for doing things like this. Somewhere down there. There's some fuel lines. There they are. I've just found out that is the fuel on and off, and there's a lever that goes all the way down to here. So if I disconnect it on the fuel tap, we can take the tank out after releasing the pipes. So I'm going to try and figure out how to get that off. In fact, I'll bring you in and I'll show you. Well, tucked down here, this here is the fuel tap. This rod connects over to the fuel on off switch, so it runs across and down to that. So I've got to get this rod off, then disconnect the fuel pipe, which is down there. There's a red pipe on the top, the black pipe at the bottom. One must be a vacuum feed. And then we can remove the fuel tank to give us access to everything I need to get to underneath. But the tank's got to come off because it's full of rust. So I'm going to get them pipes off now. This off, tank off. I'll put you back in the tripod. I'm hoping this plastic clip comes off and that comes out. So that was easy. Now, to remove the fuel pipes along those pliers, right, that's the clip off. Now can we get the pipe off? The black pipes come off very simply. pipe's going to want changing, it's rock hard. The tank's in remarkable good condition, it's not rotted out at the bottom. Surprising that it hasn't rotted through. That rubber's in very good condition, it hasn't perished, cracked, broken. So we can get this plug out. BR4HS is the plug fitted to it. Well, it has a gap. And the plug's in quite good condition. Other than I think the gap's a little bit small, but we can soon rectify that. It's not all carboned up. I'm going to give that plug a quick clean and see if we've got a spark. There's no carbon build-up on the plug, so I'm quite happy with that. Okay. Now all I have to do is figure out how to turn it on. That's something to do with the carburettor. see. I can see there's the on-off switch is part of the fuel tap. So it needs to be in the up position. We just put the fuel pipe out the way where it lives. That must be the vacuum pipe. So that's the run position, that's the off position. So it's always in the on position by the looks of things. I actually have a spark. I'm going to have to bring you closer. Let's get it so I can pull. I did have a spark. I can't pull that properly. There is a spark, believe me. There's a spark. So I'm not going to play with the ignition. I'm going to leave the ignition alone because I know I've got a spark. It turns over nice. I'm going to whip that plug back in so nothing goes down the plug hole. I think all my problems are going to be with the carburettor. So let's plonk you back in the tripod. I like to screw spark plugs in by hand till they bottom out. I don't like to wind them in with power tools or anything. So we've got a spark, which is good news. So we can put that bit back together. These things always come out easier than they go back in. But it's important you put them back in, because they do stop a lot of crap going down. They do work. That is going to be my problem. The carburettor. So, red pipe is going to be fuel supply. I think that pipe's going to be savable. I've never pulled one of these apart ever. Got rods, springs and all sorts everywhere. So what's holding all this together? Let's get rid of our air cleaner, we don't need it on there. More Phillips screws to get that off, which will expose the carburettor. So let's pull them off. They're all the same size, so let's place that somewhere safe. Let's see where we've got to now. If we put these back in for now so I know where they are. So 8mm, 10mm, so that exposes our little carburettor. Right, what connections have we got? I've never played with one of these, so I'm going to take some photographs. Right. Let's get that out of there. Under there's another governor spring, so I want to know where it goes. Don't think that spring needs to come off, that can stay on. That one needs to come off. So we need to get our little carburettor off here now, there we go. don't know what make this is. It's a dinky little carburettor. Choke. And a governor controlled throttle off the linkage on the top and a spring. I think I'm going to leave it at that tonight. That gasket survived, so I'm not going to worry about that gasket. It can stay where it is. Put these back on here so we know where they are. Oh, that wraps up the first part of resurrecting this little Honda generator. What we established, it's got oil in it but way too much. It turns over, it's got compression and it's got a spark. Having seen the inside of the fuel tank and smelt the fuel, I'm guessing that is going to be clogged up. So I need to find out what this carburettor is. Oh, it's a Keihin, it's a Japanese carburettor. K-E-I-H-I-N, Keihin, Japan. That wants stripping down and cleaning and reassembling and putting back onto the Jenny and see if we can get any life out of it. So I'm going to call it quits of that tonight. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Something totally different. Sorry there's no YXZ or Toyota Yaris or drone footage. Something else tonight. Anyhow, thank you and good night.